I'm going to show you how to use image trace to convert raster images into vector files, specifically if we're using on a laser cutter. So these are raster images, meaning it has just a bunch of pixels which control the color. But what a laser cutter needs, it needs a path, where to send the laser if you want to cut out or score with the laser. So to do that, I'm going to go to Window, Image Trace, click on this object, and right now I'm going to turn on the preview, and it already tried to convert that raster into vector objects. And I'll show you what it did. I just use the default formats and I'll hit expand. Okay, and there's one thing I'm going to do now. I'm going to hit Control Y or Command Y. And what that does is it shows a wireframe. Essentially, it takes all the fill out and just shows where the different paths are. And you can see what it did. It actually made two different line segments for each of these paths. And I really only wanted one. So I could clean this up now just by editing this file and deleting the parts I don't need. If I only need one line on the outside, then I can delete things there. Let me hit Control Command Y again. And this time I'll undo things with Command Z or Control Z. Now I'm back to image trace. The other thing you could try is using different defaults or different settings. Instead of the default setting, you can try a black and white logo, see if that does anything different. This will probably do the same thing we did before. Or you can try sketched art or line art. Line art's going to try to make it with one line for each of the lines that you see there. So it did a good job on these. It messed up on the word math. So there's a couple things you could do. You could do a hybrid. If you like these lines for the outlines, convert those. And then maybe we can go back to the math part and do that with the default settings we had before and merge them together. In this case, I'll go back to the default method and show you a little bit how to clean things up. So I'm going to expand, which actually will do the conversion. And now we have a bunch of raster images. Vector images. They are now grouped together. I will ungroup them. And here's a tip. Let me show you what's up. This is still connected to the box and this line, this path as well. So that's because it is a compound path and we can release it. Let me just select everything and release all the compound paths at once. Okay, so now things should be individually selectable. Let me just make sure that, okay, there's, I just selected the box around the outside, which I don't need. I'll hit delete. Let me just select the inside line and delete that. Okay, and this one I'll delete the inside line. Let's do the outside line here, make that a little bit closer in. And we can do the same thing. Control Y will help us see what we just did. Looks like we didn't delete everything. Oops. Sometimes it makes two things, an outline and a fill separately. So now I think we have what we need. Make the hole a little bit bigger. See, I had to select two different things. Anyway, we can clean up the rest of it. I won't show you that. But now we have a shape that we can control. Command Y or Control Y will get us back. Let me just change these things to have no fill and a stroke. Let's do that for all of them. Make it so it has no fill and a solid black stroke. So that's what we have. The next one is clearly going to be a line art. So we'll just select that and we'll now go to instead of default, we'll go to line art. And I'll show you some other settings you can do. I lost the eye, I lost a little bit of the mic. Let's just play around with these things. Each of these settings takes a little while for it to figure out what, to redo the conversion. But you could find something that looks good. I don't know, I think That looks good, and hit expand. Now I can go and tweak and fix that. The last one I want to show you is I want to make a silhouette so I can shade this instead of trying to get any halftones out of this in my laser cutter. I started with this image and I did clean it up in Photoshop. There are nice tools to be able to isolate the subject and to delete the background. So I would recommend cleaning up your object as much as you can first, and I'll go to a silhouette as my preset. And I think I want to try to get this so it doesn't have those little holes in there, even though there's a little hole still on the hair. Let me try to solidify this just a tiny bit more. Maybe that'll be a good silhouette, and that can be black and white. Hit expand, and let's take a look at this. Let's make it, again, just an outline. That looks like that'll cut nicely. Sometimes it makes zillions of little path anchor points. This one doesn't look so bad. Like, for example, you could clean up that hair a little bit, but this would cut out or score nicely. And that's it for image trace.